There is a city that vanished so suddenly that the food in the pots didn't even have time to cool down. On August 24th, AD 79, the people in the city of Pompeii had just woken up. Without any warning, the volcano erupted. From the first loud blast to the destruction of the entire city, it took only 18 hours. When archaeologists excavated the ruins, they discovered a detail that left everyone silent for a full 3 minutes. There was a woman who died with her face pointing downward, her hands tightly covering her ears. She wasn't running away, she just didn't want to hear the screams of the people around her. What's even more horrifying, the temperature of the volcanic ash reached as high as 520 degrees, and the skulls of several bodies had burst open. They weren't crushed, they burst open from the inside. But what is truly breathtaking about this city is not how she died, but how incredibly advanced she was when she was alive. 2,000 years ago, she already had running water, delivery workers, chain fast food restaurants, and even election advertisements plastered all over the streets. A city 2,000 years ahead of its time, gone just like that. So let us begin with this city's most blood-stained place, the Gladiator Arena. Pompeii's amphitheater was built a full 140 years before the Colosseum in Rome. It is one of the oldest known stone amphitheaters to humanity today. This wasn't an ordinary sports field, this was a machine specifically built to manufacture death. Measuring 135 meters long and 104 meters wide, it could squeeze in up to 20,000 people at the same time. But here's the catch. The total population of Pompeii was only 12,000 citizens. This means that out-of-towners traveling specifically to watch blood sports was already one of this city's most important economic pillars. The seating arrangement in the arena bluntly displayed the hierarchy of disdain in Roman society. The powerful and wealthy sat in the very front row, closest to the blood. Free citizens sat in the middle, while the poor and women could only squeeze into the highest tiers, where even seeing clearly was a luxury. What's even wilder is, this wasn't just a place for fighting. In the morning, wild beasts starved for days were driven into the arena, forcing them to tear each other apart. At noon, condemned criminals were dragged out to be publicly executed in front of the entire town. The evening brought the true main event. Two gladiators, blade against blade, life against life, fighting until one man fell. For an entire day, from sunrise to sunset, it was nothing but blood. Yet such a slaughterhouse still gave rise to superstars 2,000 years ago. The gladiator Marcus Attilius was originally a free man, but voluntarily chose to enter the arena. His name was carved on walls all across the Roman Empire. From Italy to England, from France to North Africa, he had fans throughout the known world. Audiences went wild for them, screaming for them, just like today's football fans cheering for Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo. The only difference was, those gladiators could die at any second. In AD 59, something happened in this arena that shocked the entire Roman Empire. A massive brawl broke out between Pompeians and residents of a neighboring town. It spread from the stands to outside the arena, and from outside into the streets. Blades flashed, swords clashed, and blood covered the ground. This riot was completely recorded in a fresco, and the scene was horrifying. Emperor Nero was furious and directly decreed a ban on gladiator games in Pompeii for a full 10 years. A city that relied on blood sports for revenue was forcibly cut off from its primary source of income. You can imagine how devastated the Pompeians were at that time, but the lives of Pompeians were by no means limited to violence. Stepping out of the arena and walking through the bustling streets, you would arrive at this city's true heart, the Forum of Pompeii. This was Pompeii's political, religious, and commercial center. 4 temples surrounded the area, with the largest one dedicated to Jupiter, the king of the Roman gods. The scale and grandeur of the temple are still staggering even by today's standards. The Forum was packed with people every day. The market on the west side sold fruits and vegetables, while the market on the east side sold fresh meat. In the center of the market, archaeologists excavated a mysterious circular pit. For a long time, nobody knew what it was used for until the soil analysis report came back revealing a massive amount of fish residue inside. It turned out to be a seafood market from 2,000 years ago. A single circular pit hid a city's dietary code. Thinking closely about it gives you chills. The southern end of the Forum was Pompeii's center of power. Here, there were polling stations, council chambers, and courts of law. Under the rule of the Roman emperor, the Pompeians surprisingly still retained a local election system, allowing them to elect their own mayors and council members. Candidates' names and slogans were painted all over the streets. Some paid people for promotion, others went door to door to solicit votes, almost no different from modern-day elections. But there was one absolute rule: only free-born Roman men could vote. Women couldn't, slaves couldn't, and outsiders couldn't. Democracy here was merely a privilege for a select few. Leaving the forum and stepping into the homes of Pompeii's wealthy, you would once again be shocked into silence. A Roman luxury villa from 2,000 years ago featured a central atrium, fountains, frescoes, private baths, and even exclusive gardens. Having survived the volcanic eruption and 2,000 years of slumber underground, their colors were still so vibrant when unearthed, it looked as if they had been painted just yesterday. Aristocrats lived here, drinking wine, bathing, and discussing business, leading an incredibly refined lifestyle that you could never imagine existing in AD 79. The Pompeians' love for wine reached an almost pathological level. Archaeologists discovered a massive number of bar ruins scattered all over the city. On average, there was one every few dozen meters, a density comparable to convenience stores today. Wine wasn't just consumed at banquets. Pompeians drank it during breakfast, lunch, afternoon tea, and dinner. There was even cheap, low-quality wine produced specifically for slaves. In the countryside estates, massive grape presses were stored. Workers would first crush the grapes with their feet and then use mechanical levers to thoroughly extract the very last drop of juice. The juice would then be stored in underground wine cellars to ferment for a full year. This process wasn't as different from modern top-tier French winery techniques as you might think. But what modern engineers admire most about Pompeii is neither the villas nor the arena, but its water supply system. The entire city was laid out with a dense network of lead pipes extending underground directly into every single household. On the streets, there were 42 free public fountains providing non-stop water 24 hours a day. By the standards of 2,000 years ago, this was an almost impossible miracle to achieve. Powering this entire operation was a massive aqueduct of the Roman Empire called the Aqua Augusta. Spanning nearly 96 kilometers, it relied solely on topographical slope and gravity to transport mountain water all the way into the city. However, Pompeii's terrain was uneven, with an altitude drop of nearly 35 meters. If the water pressure went uncontrolled, the pipes would burst instantly. The solution from Roman engineers was to construct a series of water towers throughout the city to reduce pressure in sections, allowing the water to flow downward stage by stage, precisely distributed to every single street, every fountain, and every home. This system lacked a single piece of electrical equipment or a single wire. It relied entirely on mechanical calculations and engineering intelligence. Today, 2,000 years later, hydraulic engineers who study it are still left astonished. However, all of this came to an end on that fateful day of August 24th, AD 79. Mount Vesuvius erupted violently with absolutely no warning. Scalding volcanic ash and toxic gases raced toward Pompeii at hundreds of kilometers per hour. Roofs collapsed amid the tremors, and streets were instantly buried by ash. Within a matter of hours, the entire city was completely erased from the map. Historians estimate that about 2,000 people failed to escape that day, while another 10,000 luckily survived. Those who failed to flee met very different deaths. Some collapsed on their path of escape, some died inside their own homes, and one person was discovered still tightly clutching a bag of gold coins. You can never guess what he was thinking at that moment. Did he think carrying the gold coins could buy his life? Or did he simply not have time to think it through before being frozen in that moment forever? The 520-degree heat of the volcanic ash caused the bodily fluids of some victims to instantly boil, making their skulls burst from the inside. Meanwhile, others slowly suffocated in the toxic gas, enduring up to 15 minutes of agony before drawing their final breath. When archaeologists poured plaster into those human-shaped voids to reconstruct their final postures from 2,000 years ago, everyone fell silent. Some were running, some were embracing, and there was a dog tethered by a chain, struggling intensely to escape, yet never able to break free. Pompeii was frozen by time just like that. leaving a city's most authentic, most brutal, and most vivid image completely intact for us, 2,000 years later.